Hello again, I'm Allison Wallace.
And I'm Clifton Haskin. Welcome back. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
Our fourth story is about the 60th anniversary of Lynn University. Each year, the Lynn community celebrates that anniversary on November 1st with Founders Day. It is a day to reflect on the university's earliest day as a two-year college to its current status as a multifaceted international university. Valentina Morello was there.
One of the most anticipated events by the Lynn University community had a special touch this year. On November 1st, 2022, Lynn celebrated its annual Founders Day, but this year was more special than others since it celebrated 60 years since its foundation.
Founders Day means to me that celebrating another year that Lynn was founded. Since today's the 60th year, it's important to celebrate that as the first people that came to Lynn and help keep celebrating each year.
A day-long event filled with many activities for everyone to enjoy, from the classic three-wheeler race,
Go!
to carnival stands with rides and games. But we cannot forget the different food trucks that fill Christine's Park outside the University Center.
I think my favorite part about Founders Day is that everyone comes together and everyone is like celebrating, eating food, and just having a really good time.
My favorite part of Founders Day is the food trucks that are on campus and the banner contest that the clubs/organizations did.
Founders Day is an event and experience like no other for the Lynn community, also creating a sense of excitement for future events on campus.
Since I'm graduating in December, I look forward to any sort of event that's happening on campus so I can kind of take in before I leave forever. So I'm very excited for any event to come and I'll be there. Yes, I look forward to two other ones. Last year they did the barbecue cookout that I really loved, and the spring festival that's similar to this a little bit. Not Founders Day, but like the carnival rides and the carnival food. So I look forward to those two events besides Founders Day.
This year's Founders Day is one for the books, from activities and the joy of everyone who attended to a beautiful fireworks show to end the event. Valentina Morello, iPulse News.
And now, from our health desk, we have a number of reports. Number one is the COVID epidemic, which continues to be a big problem. As important, seasonal flu is back. Here's Andrea Carlos with our alert.
Achoo. Experts in the medical field is warning those in America for a rough flu season this year.
Winter's coming, and with the cooler, drier weather, you can expect some surges. The big question is how big a surge might they be?
This year's flu season will be higher than during the height of the pandemic because people are getting out more. RA RJ Hurd shares how residents' life will handle with those who test positive for the flu.
Cases are higher than expected, and as an RA, our job is to make sure students don't feel isolated on campus, and we have to keep checking in on them regularly and making sure that they are getting the attention that they deserve and need through this tough time.
Two students share if they are getting their flu vaccines.
Okay, so no, I'm not getting the vaccine because the strand of flu virus changes every year, so the likelihood of you getting it is still high even though you got the vaccine.
So yes, I will be getting the flu vaccination because as a student pilot, my health is my main priority. If I get sick, that's lost flight time for me.
It's important to wash your hands and stay healthy, and if you can, get your flu vaccine. I'm Andrea Carlos for iPulse.
To top it off, there is a third kind of infection, also on the rise. It is called RSV, which stands for Respiratory Syncytial Virus. It is an upper respiratory illness and seems to be affecting children around the country. There is no treatment or vaccine for the virus. Of course, it is also the fall allergy season, and there are some things you can do about that. Here's reporter Onelia Wilson with some tips.
It's officially fall. That means color-changing leaves, pumpkins, and apple pickings. But it also means fall allergies. People will think they have the cold, but the thing about these colds is that they happen every single year. That is one way to know you're dealing with fall allergies. You can tell by common symptoms, including a runny and stuffy nose, itchiness, watery eyes, and sneezing. It happens for more than a couple of weeks and can go on for seasons at a time. Dealing with allergies may start with your pet, especially if they go outside. Sleeping with your pet is basically sleeping with the weeds from outdoors. So, keep your pets out of the bedroom, especially during this time of the year. There are 3 ways to ease allergies, including taking over-the-counter medication such as antihistamines and nasal sprays. An allergy shot may also help. You can also avoid what triggers symptoms. Make sure that windows are closed, and when you come in, shower to get all the pollen off. If none of these help, see an allergist, because there are other remedies that can be used. This is Anelia Wilson for iPulse News.
Now, in international news. China has said it plans to ease its COVID-19 protocols, aimed at isolating every case into lockdown. This is following protests against the policy both in China and outside. Chris Wynn reports for iPulse.
For the first time in decades, thousands of people have defied Chinese authorities, protesting at universities and on the streets of major cities, demanding freedom from the government's COVID lockdowns, as well as strict censorship. A rare show of dissent against the Communist Party's tightening grip over all aspects of life. Protesters in Hong Kong expressing their support for those on the mainland.
I think everyone who has a sane mind should say something or do something to stop this unreasonable social measure.
CNN has verified at least 20 protests have erupted in recent days across 15 cities on the mainland, including in Beijing and Shanghai. Demonstrators holding up sheets of white paper, symbolizing the critical social media posts and news articles that have been wiped from the internet. China's vast security apparatus moving quickly to prevent additional protests with heavy police surveillance. The Chinese economy continuing to take a hit.
They're still dealing with COVID the way we were dealing with it in 2020 in the spring, which is your choice is to shut down. And that is very disruptive to the supply chain, the internal economy.
The White House treading carefully, even as it tries to mend relations with Beijing.
People should be allowed the right to assemble and to peacefully protest policies or laws or dictates that they take issue with.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
In Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro is still contesting the election he lost, claiming an audit showed signs of malfunction and more than 250,000 voting machines. The election result has led to countrywide demonstrations. Reporter Jonah Cole looks at how Brazilians in the U.S. reacted to the choice they were facing.
Brazilian voters recently gathered at Miami-Dade College to choose between 2 presidential candidates, Jair Bolsonaro and Lula da Silva.
I didn't agree with how Bolsonaro was running and power during those last years, so I believe that we needed change and we needed something that is different, and that is one candidate that can bring that and that can bring like a new solution and a new view to the Brazil in general.
Despite harsh criticism of Bolsonaro, the country was split down the middle. In fact, because neither candidate was able to gather more than 50% of the vote in the first round earlier in October, the election on the 30th was a knockout round between Bolsonaro and da Silva.
They voted for a different candidate in the first elections, and then the knockout stage I had to decide between 2 candidates. So basically, I knew what I wanted and I knew what I didn't want, so it was not hard to make a decision, but I had to choose a different candidate for the first one.
As if the stakes weren't high enough, Brazilian voters had another reason to get to the polls. In Brazil, voting is not a choice, but rather a mandatory act.
So I believe that is a good thing because you're incentivizing people to vote, because if you don't, then people are just going to run away from the elections because the Brazilian people they're difficult.
After a long and brutal battle, da Silva was able to secure a narrow victory over Bolsonaro.
So I believe that we're going to be seeing things falling into place, first in the health system, education system, in the Amazon, because things were pretty bad when Bolsonaro was in power. He didn't care even much. And now we can actually try to bring change into the system and see what else can we get.
For iPulse, I'm Jonah Cole.
Now, on to sports. On November 12th, the Lynn University men's basketball team had their first home game against the Johnson University Suns. The Lynn basketball lost their first game to FAU 46-81 on the road. Would this game give them a win? I was there. On November 12th, the Lynn University men's basketball team had their home opener against the Johnson University Suns. The Fighting Knights had a tough road loss to FAU and looked for their first win of the season. Lynn's 14-man roster consists of 9 brand new freshmen and 5 upperclassmen. The Fighting Knights in white had a dominating start to their home opener. Lynn went ahead by nearly 20 points and made a series of 3-point shots. The Knights capitalized on every chance they got to score and ended the first half with a score of 53-38. Lynn continued their offensive onslaught into the second half, scoring back-to-back 3-point shots and easily creating offensive opportunities. The Fighting Knights bench erupted once they reached 100 points and won the game with a final score of 100-81.
You can see the amount of talent and skill with these young guys. It might take some time to develop, but the crowd loved it. I think everybody here enjoyed watching that youth, enthusiasm, and skill. So I think all in all, an excellent debut for these guys.
I'm Clifton Haskin for iPulse. And just last Saturday, Lynn's women's basketball took on the Florida Tech Panthers. The Fighting Knights had done really well so far in their season with 5 wins and only 2 losses. On December 3rd, Lynn University's women's basketball team took on the Florida Tech Panthers. The Fighting Knights went into this matchup coming off of a tough loss at home to the Nova Southeastern Sharks. In their season, they sit in 6th place with a record of 5 wins and 2 losses. The Fighting Knights in white dominated in the first 2 quarters. Lynn quickly pulled ahead by 12 points and led by more than 20 by the second quarter. The Knights made multiple 3-point shots and ended the first half with a score of 47-23. The Knights continued their offense into the 3rd and 4th quarter. They took advantage of 3-point opportunities and piled onto their lead. Lynn gathered every rebound they could get and ended the game with a decisive win of 84-60.
I thought it was a great game. We started off strong with great defense, and I really like number 10 specifically. Her energy throughout the game was great.
I'm Clifton Haskin for iPulse.
In other sports, on the night of November 13th, 3 members of the University of Virginia football team were killed and 1 person injured in a mass shooting. Not during a game, but on a bus ride. The bus was carrying the group and other students from a night out in Washington. While there is evidence that the football team was targeted by the shooter, the motive is unknown. Again, our sports editor, Clifton Haskin.
A traumatized campus coming together in grief. The University of Virginia mourning the shooting of 3 football players. The shooting shocked the campus.
Shootings occurred on a bus full of students returning from a field trip. 3 of the victims did not survive.
An intense manhunt began around Charlottesville for the suspect. Then the news broke out everyone on campus was waiting for.
We just received information the suspect is in custody.
Police identified the suspect as University of Virginia student Christopher Jones Darnell Jr. The 22-year-old was a freshman on the football team in 2018. Police said Jones was arrested about 75 miles from campus. The university identified the victims as Devon Chandler, Lavelle Davis Jr., and Deshaun Perry, all current football players. The students still mourning, among them Zoe.
I know a lot of people went to sleep very, very scared and woke up also more alarmed, and I, for one, was more alarmed because a really dear friend of mine was one of the victims, and that was really hard for me.
I'm Clifton Haskin for iPulse.
our condolences to the University of Virginia community during this heartbreaking time. Turning back to Lynn News, every now and then we want to feature some of the professors who teach us. Tonight, meet a professor at Lynn who designs digital comic books. Mark Sparcio's books have been published and he is well known in the creative field. I went over to his office to see his work. When did you first start writing comic books?
Okay, first start writing comic books was 2016.
What inspired you to make comic books in the first place?
Okay, when I was a kid, I was very athletic, believe it or not. You can't tell now, but I used to play a lot of sports and it blew out my knee. So, as a joke, one of my friends gave me a stack of comic books and I started reading them because I couldn't do anything else. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I like these things. And I wanted to start drawing them, and that's how I got into comics.
How long does it take you to make a comic book?
That's a great question. It takes quite a while. If I'm doing a 22-page book, it's going to take me a couple of months to do it because I'm writing it and drawing it and doing painted covers for it. So it takes about 2-3 months. So what I'm doing with the 2 comic books I'm working on now is I've gotten 4 issues for each series done. And we're gonna try and do a few more before we release them. So I'm way ahead of my deadline.
Where can you purchase one of your comic books?
Okay, well, you can run to your local comic book shop and find them there, or you can go to AmericanMythology.net and order it online. Okay, use your little phone to do it.
No wonder comic books and video games make more money than movies. That's all we have for today. I'm Allison reporting for iPulse. Mark Sparcio is currently an artist in residence in fine arts. Now, some of our faculty who are not as well known. They are behind the scenes people who put together the shows in the theater and in our TV studios. They help students and faculty in a variety of different ways. They are our unsung heroes. Meet our hero in the School of Communication and Design.
Lynn's College of Communication and Design has many people working behind the scenes, but none of those people are more crucial perhaps than the head of technology, Jazeel Ramos.
When I was a kid, I said I would always wanted to be a chef. I love the kitchen. But then as I was applying to school, actually I got an email from another school that I was accepted for art. And it was for film department actually. And I went to school, I did the whole tour and everything. And then I started looking more into the aspect of film and animation and going into animation department and everything like that. So then I expanded to communications and tech crew and, with Lynn, all the drama and everything.
Overseeing the technology for an entire college is no easy task, however.
Well, definitely it's different. It's not your regular office job where you just come to the office, sit down on a computer from 9 to 5. I get to work with a lot of students. I get to help them in the process of creating content, whether it's a film, whether it's communications. So I get to be part of this craziness of when the students have an idea, it's how they can make it happen.
What does a typical day look like for someone who manages as many things as Ramos does?
Well, first, of course, coffee. That's needed in the morning. And then I get to my office, and then run down, the day with my employees, my student employees here at the office. If we have any bookings, if we have any students coming in that day. And then, of course, check, how many equipment do we have left. So we are aware, if student comes in, what do we have available. And then I run the floor, making sure that everything is working, that there's no problems in any classroom. And then I come back to the office, go through my emails, and then work as, in the videos edits, posting stuff in the websites for iPulse. I'm making sure that everything is still running during the day. And then once it hits 5, if it's a day that I close at 5, I go home. Or sometimes I stay, pretty late working on other stuff.
Work isn't everything for Ramos. He still has time to do the things he loves.
I like school, I like learning, so I'm always willing to learn more of, things that are, the world is evolving, technology is evolving every single day. So I like to have the knowledge, so when I go to other students, I'm able to help them as well. And also in my personal life, just learn more. I feel like, every day we learn something new, and that's something that will help, not just my career, but as a personal.
For iPulse, I'm Jonah Cole.
Another Lynn faculty member who deserves a shout out is Professor Roberto Echeverria, who teaches podcasting. Professor Echeverria believes podcasting has opened a new freeway for popular expression. In an information society, he says the exchange of information is the main economy. Podcasting has become the currency. Let's watch.
Good morning! Hello everyone! Welcome back to episode 4 of the Judgment Free Zone pod.
Podcasting is an increasingly popular pastime in the United States. The US leads the globe in podcast listeners. During 2021, 117.8 million people in the United States listen to podcasting on a regular basis.
It's almost like sex trafficking. Oh no, she said she felt like she's in an emotional prison.
37% of Americans listen to podcasts every month. Forecasts suggest that the number of podcast listeners will surpass 160 million people by 2023.
Do you like Tom Cruise as an actor, or why?
In August of 2022, the Communications and Design Department at Lynn University pioneered a accredited course teaching podcast productions. The state-of-the-art podcast booth includes 4 microphones, 3 cameras, and a media switcher, allowing for video inserting and live phone calls.
You'll also be able to save and replay memories with absolute.
Now, how big is the podcasting market? The global podcasting market is expected to reach $14.25 billion in 2021. Revenue forecast for 2030 is $94.88 billion. Sponsorships are the most common way podcasters make money. This is when the podcast promotes a sponsor during the show. You probably hear your favorite show plug their advertisers a few times in every episode. How much you earn from a sponsor depends on the number of downloads your episodes reach.
The demand for podcasting has grown so fast that Lynn is building a second podcast studio.
Now, we also like to feature places in our area that students should visit. Our Miami reporter, Angie Santala, reports on one such place south of our campus.
Anyone who knows the art scene in Miami is familiar with Miami's popular Wynwood neighborhood. It is famous for its Wynwood walls and spectacular artwork. This outdoor museum is especially popular during the international art event in early December, Art Basel. Since the neighborhood began in 1917, Wynwood has served as a place for working-class families, but its central location between I-95 and East Coast Avenue continues to attract many types of businesses, especially art. A prime spot that garners the attention of locals and visitors alike are the Wynwood Walls. The walls are a walkable outdoor museum with large murals adorning the exterior of the buildings. Within the exhibit, an extensive collection of compelling and diverse works are on display. In 2009, Tony Goldman came up with the idea of the walls in an effort to revitalize the neighborhood. While some walls have remained constant since its inception, there are walls that constantly showcase new pieces. Showcasing an ever-changing selection of works gives people an incentive to come back and explore and ensure that there is always something new to see. Artists from all over the world exhibit their works on the walls throughout the year. This creates a transformative and revitalizing exhibit that ensures continued attraction. Within the walls, there are 2 restaurants where people can sit down and eat after enjoying the wonderful artwork. Also, within the walls you will find the Goldman Global Arts, or GGA Gallery, which features street artists from all around the world. There's a great little gift shop, Wynwood Walls Shop, to purchase memorable souvenirs that highlight some of your favorite pieces. Wynwood, while very known for the impressive and unique artwork that adorns their streets, is also a place that celebrates diversity. Just like the artwork, there is something that appeals to everyone when it comes to dining and shopping. This internationally recognized outdoor gallery, Miami's great climate, and the colorful walls invite viewers from all over the world to explore. Since its beginnings, it has been a place of great diversity, creativity, and opportunity. Wynwood continues to be all that and more. We invite you to come and paint the town. I'm Angie Santalo.
Now, if you prefer to hang out in someplace closer, who can resist this place by the beach? Jalen Alou reports.
Delray Beach, one of Palm Beach County's biggest cities following Boca Raton and West Palm Beach, is known for many attractions to its citizens and visitors. In a recent story, I have taken time to oversee the Murakami Museum in the city's outskirts. But today, I went to the downtown and beach parts of Delray and got the opportunity to see how different it is from the museum. I spoke to a few people who had a lot to say about why Delray Beach has been an enjoyable experience for them. So what do you like most about Delray Beach?
It's really close to campus and there's a lot of options like what you can do. Like the beach is there and then there's Atlantic Ave with all the restaurants and the coffee shops, shopping, so there's just a lot of different options.
Delray Beach, I love going to the beach, eating new places. There's like different types of, different types of bars where you can hang out.
I like the beach and I also like the Ave and all like the stores.
Speaking of stores, have you been to the Delray Market?
Yes.
That would be one of Delray Beach's most treasured tourist attractions. Often considered a foodie's paradise by many, the Delray Market allows its customers to choose from different kinds of food such as deli, Mexican, Italian, Asian, among several other types of cuisine it has to offer. If you've ever been to Delray Market, what's your favorite place there?
Ooh, Delray Market. Okay, I'm a foodie, so I like the Peruvian food in the Delray Market. It's very good.
I don't remember what it's called, but I like the pasta place where you can pick like the own type of pasta that you use and the sauce and the toppings.
To the ice cream.
Finally, just by the beach, we have a special location called the Delray Beach Pavilion. It is here where people who are either starting off or finishing up their day on the beach take some time to relax and take a break from the hot weather outside.
It's really nice. I think it's a good spot, just if you're like walking, you can stop by there or like bring like a picnic and enjoy it with your friends.
I am Jalen Alou for iPulse.
On the entertainment front, tickets for Taylor Swift's Era tour has become a hot item. That's if you can even get them. Well, our Andrea Carlos did get a ticket, but she may be one of the lucky few.
Taylor Swift made an announcement on Good Morning America on November 1st that she is going on tour. Her tour is called the Eras Tour.
Good morning, America. It's Taylor. I wanted to tell you something that I've been so excited about for a really long time, have been planning for ages, and I finally get to tell you I'm going back on tour. The tour is called the Eras Tour, and it's a journey through all of my musical eras of my career.
Pre-sales started on November 15th for the Eras Tour until an outrage from Ticketmaster happened. Fans who were selected by Ticketmaster share how frustrated they were.
I waited 5+ hours in line just for there to either be $1,000 tickets or nosebleeds left, and though I was able to snag some tickets, I know people who waited in line as long as me or even longer than me who weren't able to get any tickets at all, who are just as big of fans as I am. So I'm just feeling a little frustrated with the situation and with Ticketmaster's poor planning, because I do feel like they knew how big the demand was and didn't accurately prepare for such a big demand. So I just hope that in the future they're able to learn from their mistakes and wrongdoings to have better, smoother sailing pre-sales.
My feelings on the Taylor Ticketmaster situation are disappointment and a little bit of anger towards Ticketmaster. I got 3 pre-sale codes for the verified fan pre-sale for 3 different cities, and in those 3 different cities I was trying for 5 different dates total. And Tuesday, which was the verified fan pre-sale, I sat online all day. I was able to get into Kansas City, but then error codes came up and I was wasn't able to get any tickets, so I was literally watching tickets disappear right in front of me.
Due to high demands, Ticketmaster made a statement saying that they had to cancel general sales for the Eras Tour that was supposed to take place on November 18th. Over thousands of Taylor Swift fans are suing Ticketmaster parent company due to the ticket sale disaster. Ticketmaster must do better for future events when it comes down to high demands. I am Andrea Carlos for iPulse.
And talk about chaos. Could that describe some of Twitter's recent actions? The most recent one, taken by the new Twitter owner Elon Musk, was to offer for a cost a system to verify the authenticity of individual accounts. But that caused chaos, so he fixed that up. Roman Chica Singh reports.
Elon Musk has rolled out Twitter's new verification system a couple of weeks ago, and this verification system is colorful. The CEO of the social media platform tweeted the plan, which includes the manual authentications of all verified accounts. Companies will get a gold check, government entities will have gray checks, and individuals will display blue checks regardless of their celebrity status or lack thereof. Musk's previous attempt at a Twitter verification system was quickly mocked by a rash of spoof accounts, including some that impersonated Musk himself. Another one of Musk's goal is to charge $8 for Twitter verification, which he says will help Twitter be less dependent on ad revenue. Musk did not comment on how much time it would take to manually verify accounts, but given the recent mass exodus of employees, it may take a while. I'm Romanshika Singh for iPulse News.
And finally, in gaming news, it has been long awaited by Star Wars fans, especially those who have enjoyed continuing the adventures in the game LEGO Star Wars. The new edition of the LEGO Star Wars video game is out now. Valentina Morello reports.
I like this!
The galaxy far, far away gets bigger, or rather bigger, in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga Galactic Edition.
Most impressive.
The game collects the LEGO recreations of the 9 movies in the Skywalker Saga into a single experience, along with 13 playable character packs for even more LEGO minifigures to play as. As different streaming series continue to expand the Star Wars galaxy, so does the game, with expansion packs planned for release later in November, bringing characters from Star Wars Rebels, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, and the Book of Boba Fett to the game. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga Galactic Edition is available now for current and next-gen game systems as well as PC.
Goodness gracious me.
This is not the pod you're looking for.
Valentina Morello, iPulse News.
Before we end, we want to bring you a very special report on the volcanic eruption in Hawaii. The volcano at Mauna Loa began erupting a few days ago. The spectacular lava flow that followed has been both beautiful and destructive. CNN reporter David Culver witnessed this awesome event.
We are on the road before sunrise, quickly realizing we can already spot our destination some 30 miles out. There you see it, that red-orange glow, Mauna Loa erupting. To give you a better view though, we go up in the morning dark. Paradise Helicopters' Darren Hamilton, our pilot and guide, giving us rare access.
I assume we'll know when we see the volcano.
Yeah, it's just on the kind of the eastern side there. Yeah, about the 1 o'clock position, that is the plume there.
Having flown in military hot zones, Darren even admits this is firepower like no other.
What was it like the first time you flew over lava?
It was a blast.
It can also be challenging, especially with heavy fog or volcanic smog.
So there you can see the gases from Fisher 3.
Those acidic gases dangerous if the concentration levels are too high. On the ground, officials closely watching the lava's potential impact on Saddle Road, the main highway that connects the east and west of the island. Erupting last Sunday for the first time in 38 years, Mauna Loa, the world's largest active volcano, is one of 5 that make up Hawaii's Big Island. And it's not the only one currently erupting. Neighboring Kilauea, also active, though no longer shooting lava to the surface like it did in 2018.
We're on Kaupili Street, which is where my house was at, and it's that away, on the opposite side of the subdivision.
Dorothy Thrall invited us to where her home now sits, buried under 60 feet of lava. You can see a metal streetlight fused into the rock. 4 years after Kilauea did this to her Leilani Estates community, she still walks it as though she's on her old street with her old neighbors.
When you have something like this, I assume you're all dispersed after that.
Yeah, we lost that sense of community, and it's what we lost, in addition to the homes.
Mauna Loa's eruption, an emotional trigger for Dorothy and others, forcing the trauma from Kilauea back to the surface. The 2018 lava flow wiped out more than 600 homes here, some untouched, but left lava-locked, an island within the island. Dorothy showed us this video she captured a few weeks back, trekking over lava rock, helping friends gather the last of their belongings from their home. The reminders of devastation here, hard to miss.
This was a home. They evacuated the second night, and I believe it went under the third night.
And just took their home.
Just took their home.
And 4 years later, it's still steaming.
It's still steaming, yeah.
And how long will it steam like that?
Probably 30 to 40 years.
How is it that you can still see beauty after so much loss?
Because lava's beautiful. It's Pele's creation. That's how the island was formed. That's how the island was built.
An appreciation shared by Native Hawaiians, leaving offerings on Mauna Loa, and thousands of tourists and locals arriving past sunset just to witness the lava glow. Nighttime traffic backs up for miles. To avoid the congestion, let's get back to the skies.
That's 2,000 to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 1,000 degrees Celsius. That's molten rock, flowing like water.
Which has already crossed one volcano road, power lines and all, a searing slice right through it.
It's incredible the heat you feel as soon as you get close to it. And look at this, the rushing flow, I mean the river. You see the current of lava.
Darren estimates it's moving 30 to 40 miles per hour.
But the source of it all, I mean there's nothing like this, just spewing from the top.
That is amazing, amazing. Our thanks to CNN and David Culver. And that is iPulse Live for this year. I'm Clifton Haskin.
And I'm Allison Wallace. We'll be back in January. In the meantime, have a happy holiday and a healthy new year.